Okay, everybody, hello. Welcome to Tom's Guitar Show. They call me Guitar Tom because I'm often seen with a guitar. And they used to call me on the phone back in the old days when this is more of a call-in show, and they'd ask me questions about, they asked me questions like, hey man, what's your show about? I said, it's about an hour, about guitar players, guitar playing, all things guitaristic. So on this program, of course, we field questions about the care and feeding of a guitar, the playing of the guitar, what kind of guitar is right for you, related topics like the guitarrón, the guitarras, sitars, lutes, vihuelas, banjos, balalaikas, bazookies, bajos, sextos, tiples, cavaquinhos, chitoles, bandurias and bandolins and mandolins and mandors, and I don't know, pipe organs, piccolos, trombones, trombamarinas, cornets, quartholts, cornetos, clavinets and clarinets, harmoniums, harpsichords and harmonicas, tubas and timbales, timpani, anything. Bob's not here for some reason. We were talking about snoot flutes. I was going to bring a snoot flute and play it on the show, but I couldn't find mine. Maybe I can go, get another one. But Bob's not here, but we got Donna on the cameras, so everything's going to be all right now. And, of course, Beth is directing because Mr. Skopinski is off playing hooky someplace. He has a tendency to go to North Carolina these days. So anyway, so all you guys, you got me. So we're going to keep this clean here because this is a family show. All right. Without Bob, I don't exactly know how to do my intro anymore, but we shouldn't become dependent on others so much. Anyway, so I was thinking about doing a great big electric guitar show, but I was hanging out at West Music, back there in that acoustic guitar room. I kind of want to call it the rumpus room, but anyway, and I was playing some very expensive guitars, and I didn't ding them up at all. My hands are clean. And I hung them back up on the wall. I even put the price tags on them because they're like $4,000 guitars. There's a Martin HD28, the herringbone one, which is actually a really decent guitar. And there's a Taylor, a little one there, and with a pickup in it. One of their new ones, reimagined. And I thought, well, I got this Breedlove here. That's a pretty nice guitar. And I managed to pay it off some time ago. So it's all mine. It wasn't $4,000. It wasn't actually cheap. Made in Bend, Oregon by genuine hippies. That's what I'm told. My Breed Love guitar, that is. Breed Love. It says so right there. See? Huh? I like that. Huh? You're not supposed to look at the monitor. That's what I'm doing? I'm looking at the monitor. It's Breed Love guitar. It's what they call an auditorium model. It's one of their bigger ones. So, hang on. Okay, hang on. I'm just kind of got a fairly dark room that I keep all these things in, and when you get into these TV lights, it's, what am I seeing? Fingerprints and things. There we go. That's better. How about down here? And up here. Oh, there's dust there too. You gotta love your Breed Love. Oh well. It's no secret I hang around the guitar shops. I'll say the Pro Shop has some really nice guitars too. West Music got some really nice guitars in the back. I'd say if I wanted to get a guitar that's not real expensive, and I can't really mention any prices or any deals, I'd say Pro Shop has Seagull guitars, which are made in Canada. And there's one that I guess is, like well under $1,000, made in Quebec by Quebecers, French Canada. It's a really nice guitar. If I had any need whatsoever for a guitar like that and I had any money, I'd go get me that guitar. But who knows? Maybe someday I'll slip a groove. Anyway, my real objective today was to dig in this electric guitar thing I keep thinking about. And I've decided I don't really like playing electric guitar in headphones. There's a really great advantage that you can play in headphones and people don't hear much of anything if they're outside the room. What the guitar actually sounds like without, going through the amplifier speaker, like blaring at you, is very, very little. It's just sort of little like a... But I don't really like the headphone experience that much. So, and I've noticed that well, quite frankly, my wife and the cat don't like electric guitars very much at all. And I don't feel like I have that big an opportunity to play them the way I want to. I'm not that loud, but I'm louder than I would be on an acoustic. So my ambition now is to get a gig someplace where I can kind of turn up a little bit. Someplace kind of really big and loud. And I'll play my same, finger-style guitar thing, but on something like bright blue and electric, or yellow, or green. But these are dreams I have. Of course, I play at the Tuscan Moon in beautiful downtown Kelowna most Fridays and Saturdays in the evenings at dinner time. And I play at the Northside Bistro here in Iowa City the first Thursday of each month. But I play through a little amplifier like I am right here, and it's not that loud. And I like it this way. But someday, just to be a jerk, just to spread myself a little bit, I like to plug into one of my tube amps that I just gather dust and crank it a little bit. And, not a lot, but a little bit, All right. Seems like I'm playing variations of the same song. I didn't have really have a plan when I came here this evening. I had a plan, but I departed from it while I was packing up to come here. So anyway, I will say that I played a little concert for the Marion Arts Council up there at the Lowe Park, Lowe. It sounds like Lowe, like Lowe's, hardware lumberyard, but it's Lowe, Lowe Park up there. They have a Marion Arts Council has a like a building. Excuse me. Pardon me. I'm getting okay. I'm getting all choked up. No, they have a building there that's has artworks and so forth. They have a large room where they're having coffee houses, and they had coffee and cookies and things for people, and a bunch of tables and chairs, and the place was full. I played a concert, and the funny thing was that I told a lot of my little stories and my jokes. Sorry, and unlike the people around here who've heard it all before, it was new to them, and they really liked it. It's like, wow, And then on my way out, they showed me in the distance the amphitheater, which has some etched glass things, sculptures and things as amphitheater. And I said, if you ever want anybody to play electric guitar in your amphitheater, let me know. Of course, this was Friday night. Was kind of cold, actually, and so we had to wait till spring. So I'm looking forward to that. It was a really nice place. They have an art walk, actually, where you can go and walk this trail, but they have little sculptures and artistic things along it. Now, I missed out on all this stuff because it was dark and it was cold and it was night, and I was playing indoors for people who were drinking coffee. And but it was quite nice. So anyway, that's what I did Friday. And of course, I was at the Tuscan Moon on Saturday, which was interesting, and I had I can say that I had dinner with a couple of major hog farmers, but in a sense I didn't, because they had already had their dinner, but they were sitting at the table, and I had my whatever it was, leftover goulash that the cook put together with what she was trying to get rid of, which was really pretty good, and some salad. And they were discussing, the trials and tribulations of hog farming. These are people who deal with many, many thousands of hogs, and I heard many things, but they were very, of course, against people who. There are people who are against them. There are people who are against them. They also said that he was in a restaurant in California somewhere, and if he said that if there was anything organic on the menu, he was going to walk out, said the one guy who has perhaps the largest hog operation in Iowa. And it was interesting. I didn't, I used to ask more probing questions, and I wouldn't say I actually interrogated people or anything in the past, but I don't do that. I just like that much anymore. I just listen to what people have to say and get their point of view. It's an interesting point of view, and I can see that if you just grow corn, if you don't actually have a bunch of hogs and cattle to feed it to, your corn would be. It would cost you more to grow it than it's worth on the market. So of course, the corn is not the sort of corn you make tortillas out of. It's the sort of corn you feed to hogs, and you make gasohol, ethanol for your gas tank with, and stuff like that, and industrial purposes and so forth. So it's an interesting point of view. We all know that the little family farm, like the one guy was saying that when he was a kid, they had the kind of farm where they had 50 sows. And of course now he has 10,000 or something, I don't know. It's just a different perspective, we're here in Iowa. And there are people who object to him putting up another, what he calls a smelly barn. And so it's an interesting point of view. Myself, I do believe in commerce. I'm not exactly sure. I don't have to be a spokesman or spokesperson for their way of life, and I probably wouldn't do it anyway, but I'm, of course, I'm just a guitar guy myself. dismissed. All right. Gee whiz, Donna, without Bob here, I mean, I could talk to you, but you're way over there. You know, you could be on the Bob mic, but we had to put the camera on it now. Put the camera on the, yeah, that would be good. And then you can be the new Bob. I mean, we don't have to tell jokes. We should tell jokes, but because see, I don't know what happened to Bob. I'm always concerned with him, but he's not. Bob's not here, so I have Donna here, who's she's been on the show before, but never in this capacity.
This is my first time in the chair.
Really? Oh, how do you like it?
It's fine.
Is it? Okay. We could talk about a lot of things other than just the same old jokes, you know. Like, I mean, you already know most of the jokes anyway. If you're familiar, like, what did the banjo player get on his IQ test? Barbecue sauce. See?
Yeah.
That's a good joke.
Yes.
Some people don't get it, though. I explained it to my one banjo student in the college up there, and because I told him that once before, didn't get it, so I left it, you know. And then, you know, we're getting toward the end of the semester, so I figured, because I told him very early in the semester, you know, that joke.
Right.
So I explained it to him, and then he got it, like he was eating barbecue and he smudged the test. It wasn't his score; it was in. He said, "Oh, that's really funny." And I wonder, that might be the most valuable thing I taught him all semester was how to.
He will not forget the joke.
Well, it's how to think differently, but oh, there you are. You're on the monitor now.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey.
So anyway, but now you've become quite a video producer in your own right nowadays. What do you call your show?
Well, I call them animal adoption videos,
Oh,
but they're mostly videos for the Iowa City Animal Center.
I see. You don't have anything trendy and like ironic, like Tom's Guitar Show or something like that. No, I'm sorry. But okay, so you do the animal adoption videos, and I know I've seen some of them in the lobby here. There was one that was a cat who was fooling around with a shoe and stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah. That was one of my first ones.
Yeah. Okay. So I think you're probably very popular. I mean, it's like cheating though, because you're doing kittens and stuff, right?
Yeah, I have an audience. How can you not look at the dogs and kittens and cats?
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And one rabbit.
Oh yeah. No, I've never lived with a rabbit before. I've met a couple, but I've never actually known one very much. You know, I've never like picked up a rabbit or anything like that. But
Well, actually, they don't like to be picked up,
they don't. Oh,
so that's good.
okay. Well, I mean, I knew a long time ago. I knew somebody who had a rabbit named Bun, and it was her close friend and confidant. And it would hop around her apartment. Unfortunately, it wasn't like litter trained. I heard there's some of them can be litter trained. But
Oh, yeah, they can be litter trained.
Well, this one wasn't. So there were
Ugh.
pellets around the house and stuff.
Yeah.
But she called it. I don't know if it was a girl or a boy or it even mattered. Bun.
It really only matters if there's more than one rabbit.
Yeah, that would matter a lot. Yeah, they say there's no such thing as two rabbits.
No.
But yeah, they have a high birth rate. But so I've never known one personally, you know. But I mean, do you get pet them and stuff like that?
Yes,
Yeah.
they like to be petted and they like their ears scratched, but all rabbits, just like dogs and cats, are different.
Yeah.
They'll let you know what they want you to do.
I see. Yeah. Are they fairly smart? I mean, can we compare? I mean, cats seem to be pretty smart, and dogs are pretty smart in a lot of ways. I mean,
I don't know how smart they are.
does like I mean, you've met my cat,
Yes,
Attila.
she's very
Attila.
smart.
She knows a lot of things. She knows mostly how to manipulate people. So like if you have like a guitar case open in the studio there, you know, she'll get in it. But
Yeah, I
probably
don't
wait
leave
until
my
you're
case open because,
Yeah.
well, unless I want her in my case.
Yeah. Well, you know, she's going to want to. Well, you have the baritone ukulele. It's just about the perfect size.
It is.
Yeah.
I don't want my cat getting jealous of another cat, so we
Yeah.
don't go there.
Well, you never know what's going to happen if you're, you know,
Yeah.
if she starts smelling Attila's influence. But I mean, your cat would smell a lot of different animals all the time.
Oh, yeah. She knows where I've been.
Yeah. Of course, they always know where you've been. Or my dog, you know, I'd come home from someplace, you know, and we usually went with me, but you know, if it were one of the situations, I come in and he would start sniffing my pants leg, and he would sniff and sniff and sniff, and like with great interest.
Oh, yeah.
And he had a lot of stuff going on with his keeping a lot of track of a lot of things, you know.
No secrets.
That's right. Well, yeah, well, he would know. But I also noticed because I used to take him for a walk, at least a couple of walks every day. I would always take him for walks, and the thing was, like, I wouldn't begrudge him his walk because he had to sniff around at things. It wasn't just about exercise, and so he had to do his sniffing around and his
Brain
his
work.
marking the world,
Yeah.
But and he had to know what's going on with everybody else, And I realized that at those days I used to read like the Press Citizen and Des Moines Register every day, And then after that, I think I read the Press Citizen or maybe it was the Des Moines Register and the Daily Iowan every day. So I'd sit there and I'd read 2 papers, And that was my thing, But the dog, he had his old thing, and it was just like reading the paper to him.
Yeah, leaving a message.
Yeah. Well, he would leave the messages behind, but he had to know what's going on in the neighborhood and stuff like that. So we had specific things. And then he used to want to go in certain directions, And I never really felt like a master. I'm not really a master kind of, I've attempted guitar mastery. I think I fall short. But being somebody's master, even if he was a 4-legged person. So it's just like we had to agree on things, you know what I'm saying? We kind of come to agreements.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
My dog ran the house when we had a dog.
Yeah. I think I met your dog too.
Yeah.
Curmudgeonly dog she was, but
She was old.
yeah. But and kind of very strongly opinionated about things like the mailman, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah.
We have marks on our door where the dogs have jumped the highest to the door, and there's scratches on the door to see who got the highest.
Mm-hmm.
It's very impressive.
That's like measuring your kids in the
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Right. Yeah. Felines. Nothing more than felines. I'm sorry about that. So, I also mentioned that you are on our board of directors.
Yes.
It's important for
On the
everybody to
board.
know at the TV station, PATV, Public Access TV, your neighborhood network. It's important that people would know that if you have been a producer, or if you really want to be a producer, but if you've been a producer and you haven't been around for a while, that this Thursday night, starting about 6:30, I guess, for the Munch and Mingle, we're having our annual meeting here on the corner of South Dubuque and Lafayette at the Access Center.
And pizza.
And pizza, yeah, that's right. Free pizza. But we're having our annual meeting, which is an event that's in our bylaws. And this is where we vote on things as a membership, and where we come together. And this is a kind of interesting year for us because, as we mentioned sometimes on the show, that our franchise agreement is coming to an end in 2018, in the summer or the fall, I guess. And in theory, our funding from the cable pass-through money that we get is going to be gone. So we have to figure out our own way to survive. And a lot of us are thinking about this quite a bit, and going to meetings and making plans and trying to figure things out. But it'd be nice to get everybody who really believes in us to show up, I think. And I mean, you have to be there at 5:30
Yes.
because you're a board member, and I have to be there too. That's right, because I'm on the board also. And but the whole the party starts at 6:30, and I would just recommend, if you have been a producer, or if you really want to be a producer, or you really support public access, you should show up here on the, as I say, corner of Dubuque Street, South Dubuque and Lafayette, right under Uptown Bill's Coffee House, down by the tracks, near the county building where you get your license plates.
Yep.
Right down here. I would highly recommend it because this might be a very interesting year for us. I've been hearing that all my life. There's a Chinese curse. May you live in an interesting time. So we're going to try to keep this thing going and make it better than ever. Keep it relevant for the, well, we're well into the 21st century by now, aren't we? So
Yes.
anyway, that's what I think anyway. So how do you like running cameras?
It's kind of fun. I've never done it before till today, so
Oh, okay.
if you want to learn how, just come on down.
That's right. We teach you this stuff. You learn this stuff. You could be a producer. You could make cat videos too if you want, and dog videos. You could make it about donkeys if you want. So, also, that just popped in my head. That I mentioned it to you. That you remember Phil? You know Phil, who used to hang around here all the
Oh,
time.
yes.
He's worked on my show for many years. He passed away a while back, and I wasn't sure that it was gone. There wasn't any announcement of it. He wanted to keep it very quiet and everything like that. So I Googled him, and I found picture of him, and they had these little donkeys, or burros or something like that, who were visiting the nursing home he was living in.
Oh.
And there's a picture of Phil, like petting the face of this little burro,
Oh.
and talking to it in his Phil way, addressing it in his Phil type of way. I could see the expression on his face. So the same thing, they'd tell these jokes, like, fairly sophisticated jokes, like Wagner's music. It's not as bad as it sounds, and things like that, There's one I like, a bilingual joke. I don't know if anybody will get this one, but it was the one about the guy whose wife said he wasn't romantic enough, so he would like slip out to night school for a while and study French. And then he came home one day to his wife and he said, "Je t'adore," and she said, "Shut it yourself." Because of course, "Je t'adore" means I adore you. It's a way of saying I love you in French. "Je t'adore." Shut it yourself. Anyway, that's a Phil joke. Anyway.
It's funny.
That is pretty funny. I can't tell that to a lot of people because it's one of those, Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what can I say? There are a lot of languages in the world. But anyway. I have one about a fly in the soup, but it's a bilingual joke. It's not. Most people wouldn't get it. The thing is, okay, the Englishman's in a French restaurant and he says, "Garçon, I say garçon, il y a un mouche dans ma soupe." Waiter, there's a fly in my soup, but he says, "Un mouche." Now, if you know your French, mouche is fly, but un is a, but it's the masculine. But fly is always feminine.
Oh.
Because there's genders in French for some reason, Une mouche. There's some things that are always masculine, fly is always feminine for some reason. So the waiter, because being a Frenchman, he always wants to correct him. Say, "No, monsieur, c'est une mouche, pas un mouche." Say it's a une, not un, une like female, mouche, not un like male. And the Englishman says, "My word, what incredible eyesight." Anyway, I don't know. You see, that's not funny until I actually explain it. Unless you speak French
friendly.
and you know what the French are like, which I don't know about you, but I grew up around a lot of French people.
Oh, I did not.
See, that's why it's not funny to you. Okay, so anyway, I could probably do better than that with a joke, but the banjo player with the barbecue sauce is one of the better jokes. What did the Zen masters say? The Zen master walks up to the hot dog stand and what he says, "Make me one with everything."
Oh.
Anyway, okay, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Maybe we've had it, but I'm glad you're doing your show. I'm sure it's very popular. People are talking about it right here. It's like you're cheating, though, because you're doing it about kittens and puppies
Yeah,
and things.
kittens are easy. Well, actually, kittens are not easy to film because they don't hold still. Cats are easier.
I see.
The kitten ones are motion.
Yeah, you might have to get a cat holder or something. Somebody really photogenic.
Instead of a taco holder, a cat holder.
I suppose, yeah. Do they have taco holders? Or that's where they make tacos in at the
Yeah.
Taco John's or someplace, right?
Yeah.
Never had one of those, but
I don't own a taco holder. I just think they're cool.
yeah. Well, it's important to have the right equipment for the job. I myself have the Fishman Loudbox Mini. I've got this Breedlove Auditorium guitar, and I have a Ditto looper, the Ditto X2. It has 2 buttons to push. So, well, we'll have you back. You've been on the show, the last 2 weeks you were on my show.
Yes. Once with Tom and once with Aaron.
That's right. With Ed.
Oh, once with Ed and one with Aaron.
You were
yes.
always on with Tom.
Tom
It's,
was there both times.
and the only reason for that is this is Tom's guitar show, and it's kind of hard to avoid. But did you do the show when I wasn't here? Were you on that show?
Yes, when Keaton when Keaton did that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Huh.
And Miriam, who walked across the United States, who happens to be my husband's aunt. Aunt Miriam was on the show.
Really?
And Julieta was on the show, and Aaron, the other Aaron, was
Yeah.
on the show.
The tall Aaron, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. That's right. We had the other Aaron on the show last week. The ukulele playing Aaron. I think that Aaron plays some ukulele too. I was going to have a contest for a logo for Tom's guitar show.
Oh.
And the first prize is going to be a ukulele, but I never kind of like pursued it enough. But she does pretty good graphic design there. Erin, who works here. So
We should look her up, see if she'll do it.
well, I mentioned to her once, and so I'd forgotten about it. Rough and tumble of everyday life. You forget these things that I could use a logo, but anyway. Well, good then. So you're not Bob, but you're Donna. Bob
Yes.
could never do you.
No,
So,
well, he
and you
could
can't
try. No,
You can't do Bob really. So
I don't know the good family-friendly jokes.
neither does Bob. So anyway, well, that's very good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I should play something though. But instrumental guitar music. Seems like I kind of like to play songs where people know the words or they think they know the words, and they kind of sing them in their heads. The Hallelujah song is a interesting song, and a lot of people don't really know what it means, and I'm not sure if I know what it means, but it's not exactly the religious thing that people are, thinking it means. They just like to say Hallelujah. And it's really about a love affair that went south, I think, but anyway. But anyway, yeah. I use it as a model. It's Don't Think Twice, It's All Right by Bob Dylan. And you have your regular chord progression. You know, you got your 1, 4, 5 relative minor, and then you got a 2. Sorry. Sorry about that. I think this might be my first yawn in the show. That's pretty good for me. I'm not boring myself too much. So, I mean, so I got C. That's 1. C, D, E, F, G. G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the 5. Got the relative minor, which is 6 and minor. And then you got your C, D, F, 4. So you got your 1, 4, 5, and relative minor. And then later on, you got your 2, D7. So why am I mentioning all these numbers? Because a lot of songs are 1, 4, 5. Like I heard somebody from New Orleans say, it's 1, 4, 5, baby. But down there they call everybody baby. And if I call somebody baby, maybe I'll get in trouble because I just, quoting somebody from New Orleans, so I say, it's just 1, 4, 5. I say, what do you mean by 1, 4, 5? Well, tonic, subdominant, dominant. That makes it worse. Well, if 1 is C, C, D, E, F, G. So 1, 4, 5, C, F, G, you know. Wild thing. You make my heart sing, or many roads must a man walk down. 1, 4, 5, right? It's the essence of a lot of blues songs. So if you want to add another chord after 1, 4, 5, do the relative minor. And a relative minor is not your uncle who digs for coal. I delivered that line once in a cap and gown, looking like as Professor, I think I had something ridiculous, Charles M. Nasal Spray or something like that was the subtitle. And I had that, and the tassel from the cap was hanging over my nose, kept blowing out. Relative minor is not your uncle who digs for coal. Pulling this thing out. Now I want to call him Professor Chalk and Talk. But anyway, it was a character I used to play, trying to do musical education videos. But anyway, you know, relative minor is either down 3, like A minor is a relative minor of C. It's down a 3rd, right? So that's the relative minor, which is either down 3 or up 6. You end up the same place, right? C, D, E, F, G, A. I'm up 6. Or C, B, A, down 3. It's the same thing, okay? A minor, okay? And then, of course, a 2, if you're in C, is going to be D7. It doesn't have to be a 7, but if we're talking about putting a 2 in something, it should be funky, like a 7. So you go 1, 5, relative minor. 4, 1, 5, 1, 5, relative minor, 2, and 5, 1, 4, 2, 1, 5, relative minor, and 4, and 1, and 5, and 1. I try to teach people this stuff. I think I fail. But if I just keep like nattering on about it like this, they tend to learn. They go get a book about it, and then they get more confused than they were before. They ask me to, you know, explain the book to them. And then I say, well, let's just count on your fingers. A, B, C, D, E. What's 1, 4, 5? A, D, E. Ah. G. Yeah. Okay. And what's relative minor? Relative minor. F minor? No, F sharp minor. Why? Because the circle of fifths. What's that? And then I get to the next subject. I'm sorry, man. I'm just like, I am the lowest rent form of adjunct professor. Well, the second lowest. Because I teach in 4-year colleges. But I used to teach at Kirkwood, but 2-year college. Maybe I'll go back. I don't know. Maybe I'll get a paper out. Maybe I can get a taco stand, is that what it's called? Yeah. And I could get a job. I always I compare myself with the person who puts the beans in the tortillas. And I like to say, well, at least when I come home from work, I smell a little bit better than if I were making tacos for a long shift. And of course, in my job, I get to sit down. Unfortunately, I sit down too much. So anyway, what am I doing? I'm wasting time. But we're coming to the end of another fun-filled Tom's Guitar Show. And I guess I just want you to know that if you have been a producer or you really want to be a producer for PATV, our annual meeting is this Thursday. And the general admission is at 6:30 p.m. at the Access Center here down the corner of South Dubuque and Lafayette. I'd like to see if we can't get beat the bushes and get some of these producers who haven't been active for a while to come on back. But there are things to do this year. This is our big annual event where we come together. We are a nonprofit organization and we work for the membership and for the viewing public. So the membership would be nice to see some of you folks around a little bit more, And pizza, and treats, and maybe some fairly important matters. I think this is actually a really important thing to have a community television station. I'll be back next week. Come on down to Tuscan Moon this weekend. Make reservations, though. Beautiful Towntown, Kelowna, Iowa.